Good day, cloud people. In the global race to move everything into the cloud, there is one solution that is raising all eyebrows, and that is ERP. And the reason for that is because not only ERP is the core of an organization, but typically it takes a long time to implement it and involves a lot of customizations. So is it possible to translate this technology into the cloud and take advantage of all the benefit that the cloud brings? The king in the market of ERP historically has been always SAP. They have a huge client base on-premise, and their challenge, like many others, is to move this monster of a machine into the cloud effectively. To know more about what SAP is doing in this direction, we invited Theo Priestley, the Global Evangelist for S/4HANA Cloud, the ERP in the cloud for SAP. I had a chance to interview him in Johannesburg. It's been kind enough to fly in. I had a coffee with him, and the interview was pretty long. We summarized, we condensated all the interesting stuff in more or less 10 minutes. If you're very busy, you don't have time to hear all the interview now, in the description below you have a link of all the subject. You can click in the subject that you're interested in and YouTube will take you straight there. My name is Simone Zanetti and you're watching Mr. Cloud TV. Theo, thank you for flying all the way from London for this interview. What is the philosophy of SAP going to the cloud with ERP?
So there's a number of aspects here, and the biggest one is speed and agility. I think, going back to your point around customization and large installations, I think historically clients were very interested in making things as customizable to their environment as possible. That usually tended to have extremely long projects that didn't work at all, focuses on the wrong place. Now there's a shift in general attitude towards projects, implementations, and people want to implement something very quickly. It gets done, and so they can concentrate on other things. For example, actually doing the real innovations. So the strategy around S/4HANA Cloud and Cloud ERP is very much in tune with where the market is moving, which is let's standardize the ERP process. Let's implement it really quickly, not months or years, but we're talking weeks. And let's give the business the ability to innovate around the edges, around their business, around the customers, and the processes will run themselves. You know,
wow.
It sounds very simple.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about order, you know, these sort of traditional ERP processes like order to cash, invoicing, you know, those kind of things, they shouldn't really need an awful lot of customization because it's money in and money out and you're processing it. And it sits within the heart of the business. And, you know, ERP is a bit like, I used to come from the BPM world, the business process management world originally. And ERP is almost like BPM, but in BPM as in the beats per minute, as in the heartbeat of your organization. And so in SAP terms, we call it the digital core, which it is. It's the core of your organization that runs. You shouldn't really be spending an awful lot of time customizing things in the core because it should just implement, run, and it's stable. And I think that's the problem in the past, is that the stability has been knocked because of the level of customization. Now the clients want speed. You can't have speed if you're spending all of that time customizing.
Yeah.
So we've decided that the best practice, well, we've taken 43 years worth of best practice and said these are the best practice processes. We'll put them in the cloud, you'll implement them in the cloud, you'll run them in the cloud, and you've got all that time to do other things, all the clever stuff.
Yeah, well, you talk about weeks, which in the ERP world is like the holy grail, if I can put it that way. I mean, we know how long it takes usually to implement ERP. Is SAP going into the cloud because everybody else is doing it, or is there a specific strategy? And I'm asking you that because in 2011 I wrote an article on the Leadership magazine where I say that SAP Purchasing Success Factors was their move to move completely into the cloud, and I think this is happening, so I was right.
You were right. way back in 2007, SAP has started to build the foundation of, where do we want to be? We want to be in the cloud. How do we do this? So we start by small. We start by business by design. We move some things into the cloud, and then we make strategic, acquisitions. So, SAP has invested something like 35 billion in acquisitions like SuccessFactors, Concur, Ariba, Fieldglass. So we have been moving more rapidly now into the cloud, and it is absolutely a strategic imperative for SAP. It's cloud first. What will happen now is that there will be functionality and capabilities that will be delivered in the cloud before we deliver them into on-premise, because we want customers to go to the cloud to start thinking cloud. And to be honest, if you're not thinking cloud by now, then your business is going to be overtaken. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're in competition with someone else and they're already in the cloud and you're still scratching, going, do I, don't I? You've lost the game.
Yeah, but that's the point, because so a normal ERP implementation can go from 1 year, if you're lucky, to a few years.
Yeah.
You know what it is. And with the pace at which the business in the world is moving, by the time that you finish implementing it, you need to restart again in any event, because so many things changes. Your competition went ahead. There's new compliance laws that came up. There's new trends, new technology. So I think one of the key factors that the cloud brings, and I just wanted to know from you if S4 will be the same, is that you get continuous updates. So not only you have the speed of implementing it, but also keeping it updated.
Yeah, so we have a couple of clients who have recently signed up for specifically those reasons. So there's the speed, but there's also the cost of ownership, or the cost is just vastly reduced. If you think about a traditional on-premise, you have infrastructure costs, you have upgrade costs, you have consultancy costs. If there's a new software, if there's a new update, you have to think about, well, do I need to update my infrastructure and hardware, as well as have to retrain my staff, etc., on the new software. With cloud, we are committing to 4 releases a year. Essentially, it's much the same as every other cloud software. You wake up one morning, you log in, and it's there. You don't have to do anything. The release will be there, it's already there. You can get started and work on your processes straight away. There's no costly implementations or other considerations, because in public cloud, we're doing all of the heavy lifting for you.
The clients that moved already into the cloud with ERP, was the main reason speed and cost saving? Are there any other critical factors that have been considered for this?
So one of our clients has a large install base on-premise. Their project was to create a new subsidiary of the company, brand new, treated it like a startup. What they didn't want is to go through old waterfall kind of project methodology. What should we do? We build processes by hand. We install on premise. We have to think about infrastructure and hardware, that kind of thing. They just really wanted to go, we want ERP, we want a digital core, or a core of our business up and running in weeks, not months, not years. How do we do this? Cloud. How do we do it? Standardized processes. Much quicker. And so time to market is weeks. Cost is vastly reduced, and you have standardized processes. There's none of the tweaking, there's no consultancy costs having to think about color of screen and things like that, and buttons. Another client, again, large install base, but they had several different flavors or variants of ERP from SAP. So they had R4, they had all the previous variants that came before it, and if you think about the cost of maintaining different versions of SAP ERP on different hardware, etc., it made no sense to go for another on-premises implementation, and then all of the associated costs on top of that. So what they wanted to do was think about how do we think about, for the future, rationalization. So what we want to do is move to the cloud. We'll do it small, but the foundation then is there that eventually each version will switch off as soon as the capability in the cloud is there. And then what they're doing now is actually taking a huge footprint that's like that, and then moving it down over the years to something that looks like that. It becomes
more nimble, it's easier to do change management.
Absolutely.
The adoption of the users is much easier. So I've got a tricky question for you. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned now big SAP install base and all of that. So would be S4HANA just, or not just, but primarily for SAP customers, or are you also marketing it to non-SAP customers?
Yeah, it's for everyone. And I think that's the whole ethos and the strategy behind S4HANA, the public cloud, is to give that capability to everyone, and it doesn't matter what your size is. So, when we talk about large install bases, obviously we have a core of SAP customers who are enterprise customers, but those enterprise customers think small as well. So like I said, that example that I gave where they're thinking about creating a spin-off and a startup, that startup is going to start small, and they're going to have to sort of work and then grow from there. So yes, we're for large enterprise customers, but yes, we're also for people who want to start small and then grow their footprint.
Theo, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you. I hope next time you're going to come for a little bit longer time so we can show you around.
Sure.
Okay, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Have a safe trip back.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Cheers.
For your time. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share it with your colleagues and friends if you find it interesting. There will be another episode that will follow this one about implementing S4HANA Cloud with clients globally. So don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all the news for Mr. Cloud TV. Thank you for watching.